If you hear me listening to Alice in Chains and Stone Temple Pilots, like, check in with me. Something is...
Nick, how's the marriage going?
Something is skewed.
This is the epic new podcast, Two Idiots and a List, where you're going to get two idiots and a list. And now, coming to you live from Circle Avenue Studios, your hosts, Nick Fasolo and Keurig McMillan.
Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Two Idiots and a List. I am here with a man who eats things that would make a billy goat puke. Nick Fasolo.
To kill, period. Win by attrition.
Fucking make me laugh every time you say that.
I love that. I can do the whole goddamn thing. If we have time for it, maybe we'll do it later.
I say that because my son and I just watched First Blood.
Great movie.
I think it might have been the first time I've ever seen that all the way through. I've seen like dribs and drabs. I'm not sure how.
Yeah, you just pick it up and you're like, oh, it's about to grab the motorbike and ride up into the mountains. Great stunt work.
Oh,
it
is.
It's awesome.
It is.
I think give a fuck if they like. Yeah, for sure. That's not Rambo on the bike. We're just gonna go with it.
Right. The speech from Richard Crenna that you always recite kills
best.
me. The end, the weepy soliloquy from Stallone. That's where it gets a little thin.
I tune out after that.
Yeah.
He
asked me to drive my Chevy, and I said I can't find his fucking legs. I can't find his fucking legs.
I want to drive my Chevy. I said, well, what? I can't find your fucking legs. I can't find your legs.
Well, listen, we were still wrestling with the aftermath of Vietnam. Didn't quite know how to treat the subject matter.
Do you know there was a rat herder in the credits?
Well, that makes
sense. Rat herder.
Yeah.
Think about that on your business card.
No shit. Right?
Women would be killing each other to get to you.
Quite an IMBD.
A little quick business to attend to before we begin. We'd like to extend a warm welcome to the Czech Republic, Ghana, and Nepal.
Nepal?
Nepal.
I did not see that.
Yeah, Nepal.
Kathmandu?
Just came in. I didn't see where it was. I just noticed it was Nepal.
That's the only city I know.
You think we're going to become a social sensation with the Nepalese? Because that would be cool.
Yeah.
Also, would like to give a quick shout out to our Minnesota idiot, Brian the Hammer, since he shared our police episode on social media and he didn't even request it. Finally, a quick correction from our last episode for any of you who may be fact-checking us. The first song from the Police to win a Grammy was Regatta de Blanc, not Behind My Camel. Behind My Camel was their second Grammy win. Just thought I'd nip that in the bud before anyone gets a bee in their bonnet.
Read the title of the podcast. It's not two experts in a list.
Well, today we are talking about a grunge band. Or is it an alternative metal band? Or an indie band? Well, either way, up next, Stone Temple Pilots. So that begs the question, what kind of band is this?
Well, they took a lot of shit.
They did.
A lot of shit.
They did.
For being like, a
late to the
rip-off.
game. Late to the game.
Bullshit. I call bullshit.
I agree.
They were recording Core in December of 91.
I believe you're right. It came out in 92.
Right. When Ten and Nirvana, they had just released those albums.
Right.
They also shared the same producer as Pearl Jam. So it's like, I call bullshit just because his voice sounded the same. Now, I agree, like, if you were to take, like, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, a little bit of David Bowie, and, like, Nine Inch Nails, and kind of throw them into a pot and stir them up, you'd get something that sounds a little like Stone Temple Pilots.
I agree, but I think they were original in their own sense.
Oh, yeah.
It's a unique sound.
Yes.
And maybe they got some wind in their sails from the, what was happening with the grunge movement.
They definitely drafted off of that success, but who didn't?
Right. And maybe they took some influence from those bands.
Yeah.
But I think calling these guys a Pearl Jam knockoff does them a tremendous disservice.
Well, even David Frick, the golden child of Rolling Stone, had said, like, he had made the first, I think he did the review of Core, and he said basically what you had said. It's like, yeah, these guys are just a knockoff of Stone Temple or of Pearl Jam, and really pay them no much mind. And then years later, then he wrote about like how he actually toured with the band for a couple of weeks and got to know the guys, and actually, admittedly, for the first time, listened to the whole album. And he's like, "This is the first time I'm ever going to do this. I retract the things that I said about Stone Temple Pilots."
That's fair.
They are a tight band, and they are way different than the other bands that I compared them to.
That first album was awesome.
Fucking awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
So Stone Temple Pilots is one of those bands that I got in on the ground floor with. Smashing Pumpkins, I got in on Gish.
Yeah.
Everybody got into Pearl Jam on 10, so that's not exactly unique.
But I think that was like when Pearl Jam and Nirvana happened in '91. This is why it's so like seminal for us, is because like that. Then you're like, oh shit, okay, there's new shit out there. There's new good shit out there. Let's whatever's coming out now that's got a new band name, let's have a look. Stone Temple Pilots came out with Core, and we're like, okay, this is a winner here.
Yeah.
That's what I thought anyhow.
Well,
I've always been a big fan of theirs.
I think you're right. That Core album just struck me right off the bat.
Oh, right off the bat, the very first seconds. Like I told you before, I'm a sucker for a megaphone.
He uses the bullhorn a lot.
And he starts off with it, with Dead and Bloated.
Yes.
And then it comes in with like this tidal wave of guitars, and that's the real secret sauce of Stone Temple Pilots.
I agree.
Dean DeLeo's guitar work is masterful.
And Robert DeLeo is right behind him. If you compare the bassist from Alice in Chains, Mike Starr, you've got Jeff Ament from Pearl Jam, you've got Novoselic from Nirvana. They're pretty basic bassists. This guy is working it, and he's a writer.
Yeah.
Robert DeLeo.
Yeah, the brothers are really the backbone of this.
And that drummer's no slouch either.
No, he's not. He's got to keep up with all of them. And then, of course, you got Scott Weiland, who is a great frontman. Yeah. One of the better, more charismatic frontmans. Yes, Lane Staley was a compelling frontman, but, that was for different reasons. Weiland is, he's got this shaman ritual he does. He's very wiggly on stage.
He was phenomenal live.
I
saw them, I don't know, it was 8 or 10 years ago. They played Northerly Island here in Chicago.
Right.
And it was unbelievable. Like, he was really, really good, real dynamic. For a guy that's had the issues he's had, he didn't seem like somebody that was, he wasn't Jerry Garcia, who really didn't move very much when he played. Jerry Garcia also weighed about 200 pounds more than Scott Weiland.
Yeah, different drugs.
Right. Actually, no. They were both heroin addicts.
Oh, yeah.
Billy Corgan said Weiland, Lane Staley, and Kurt Cobain were the greatest voices of our generation.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree with that.
Especially in that early 90s segment, in that vein, those three guys, you didn't get much better than them.
Yeah, as we said on the Alice in Chains podcast, I mean, like, those guys we rode or died with those boys. But Stone Temple Pilots ran a close second for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd always kind of respected Nirvana, but I didn't kind of get in utero. Whenever Stone Temple Pilots would drop a new album, I would always be a fan of theirs. And Purple for me was an album that when it dropped in '94, it was like the beginning of summer of '94, and I was painting houses at the time, and I
nothing else to do but listen to music all day.
That's all we did, and we had one of those shitty 3 CD disc changers.
Yeah,
and in that 3 CD disc changers on my end of the house was Purple, the Black Crowes' second album, The Southern Harmony,
sure,
and then. I forget the other one, but I listened to the album probably 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Every day. And I loved it.
Yeah.
It was great. Purple was a fucking great album.
Yeah. Stone Temple Pilots was popular with fans, but not with critics. And again, we come back to Rolling Stone being who Rolling Stone is. The band was simultaneously voted in a '94 Rolling Stone poll, simultaneously voted Best New Band by the readers and Worst New Band by the magazine's critics.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I have another Greg Cott hot take from our Chicago Tribune. So
Sure.
here's our guy Craig Cott from the Chicago Tribune. This guy, I always knew he was full of shit. I never liked him. He had a radio show that he would do,
I remember that.
a companion piece to his. He never was right about anything. Anyhow, he says about Purple, after a few listens, super producer Brendan O'Brien can no longer camouflage the band's mediocre rhythm section and recycled grunge chords.
That's ludicrous.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot.
It's ludicrous.
He didn't know what he was listening to.
Unbelievable.
And here's Entertainment Weekly's review of Purple was worse, accusing them of ripping off Pearl Jam, REM, Soundgarden, Lou Reed, and comparing a young band to so many others is a cheap shot, but it's warranted. And to that I would say is like, if you're a band and you're like, you had Core as your first album and your second album, like, oh, let's rip off all these other great bands. Like, that seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like more work than just coming up with your own shit, which
Right.
is undoubtedly that's what they did.
Yeah.
But a word on their producer, like, he's everywhere. Pearl Jam, all Pearl Jam's albums, all the Black Crowes albums, Temple of the Dog, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood, Sex, Sugar Magic. He did all the Soundgarden. He did Neil Young's Mirrorball. He did Rage Against the Machine's Evil Empire and Battle for Los Angeles. I mean, the guy, so yeah, they
Right.
did sound alike.
Sure.
Like, that's the producer working.
And I don't think they really sounded that much alike. When I listen to especially Core, although if you go from Core to Purple to Songs from the Vatican Gift Shop, and this is a bonus of Stone Temple Pilots, this is not a one-trick pony.
No.
You know, Core is almost all grunge, and then you start to diverge, into other areas.
Exactly.
As they move out of that album.
And which is why I like Purple so much, because its core is a great heavy rock album. Purple was like, you think that we're a grunge band? Try this on for size. And it was awesome.
Right.
Every single song on that album is awesome and it's different. And I think that you were trying to define earlier on, like, well, where do we put these guys? What they had and the other bands did not have was Weiland's essence of glam rock, and he brought it. And his avatar was David Bowie. Like,
Yes.
that was his guy.
And you can hear it throughout his catalog,
Yeah.
various pieces of it, and you see it the way he moves, the way he dressed.
His artistry,
His
on
artistry,
stage, yeah, and
Draws a lot from Bowie.
The glam rock essence that he brings and adds into the grunge or heavy metal, whatever they were playing, adds so much more and makes them such a unique band.
Right.
This is not Limp Bizkit. This is not Better Than Ezra, okay? They're not just these one-offs that were like, yeah, you got a couple of hits off of one album. They're not Candlebox. They're a good goddamn band, and they're, unfortunately, I think, again, as the story goes, they were derailed by some really bad demons from their frontman.
Yeah. Weiland was the baby that Bowie and Jim Morrison had.
Yeah, that's a good way to think of it.
These guys sold over 40 million albums.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is. Now, when you think about it, though, Tom Petty sold twice as many.
Yeah, but
Twice as many albums out of that guy.
I know, but that's not a crazy thing. Everybody fucking buys Tom Petty shit.
I didn't buy any Tom Petty
I didn't. I didn't. But, I mean, it's not crazy because he's like in the lexicon of American music, where I don't think Stone Temple Pilots is.
I agree. They're a little more niche than Tom Petty.
Yeah, there's maybe one song broke out as like everybody knows that,
Right.
everybody likes that, but I think that like Tom Petty's got two handfuls of those fucking songs.
Yes,
Whether
absolutely.
they're good or bad, but
Right.
it's listen to the Tom Petty.
Yeah, listen to the Tom Petty episode.
episode to find out.
We
where
lifted him
stand on
high.
that. I dug up some buttes of Scott Weiland. Like, did you see his Christmas shit?
No. No, I didn't.
Well, he redid "I'll Be Home for Christmas," which is my favorite Christmas song of all time, and it was bizarre.
I'll be home for Christmas if only in my dream.
Was it any more bizarre than the Smashing Pumpkins
That's a
Christmas
great
song?
fucking song. Fuck you.
That was a weird song.
It's a great song.
When I looped that in to play it in our track, I was like, what the fuck is this? Oh, shit. My wife was wondering why I was laughing out loud again, because I usually am. All right. Why don't we get this underway? I think this is your week, so why don't you kick us off?
Are we doing okay? We're doing honorable mentions.
That's correct.
All right, I stuck with the honorable I stuck with the list as a pure STP list as I can. I know that I thought that we agreed that we could dip into whatever he was reporting on. It's fine.
That's fine.
But I stuck with the list as all STP, except for my honorable mention, the Velvet Revolver song "Fall to Pieces."
Fell to pieces and I'm still falling. Every time I'm falling down, all alone I fall to pieces.
Love this tune. Great. I just love Slash's guitar. His sound is awesome.
I listened because they had 2 albums.
Yes.
And I listened to both of those prepping for this. And I was like, oh, listen to that. Mm-hmm. You've got Weiland's lyrics, and you're thinking, okay, this sounds kind of like STP, and I'd been listening to all STP up until that point. And I flip on Velvet Revolver, and you get Weiland going. You're like, okay, it's pretty similar vein. Sounds good. It's it's good stuff. And then you come to the solo, and it was like a Whiplash throwback to like 1986 or 88 or whenever, Appetite came out. It was like, oh, yeah!
That guitar tone is singular, man. You know who it is, and and he's so great. And that's a great track, too. It's that's very much like I had the same kind of feeling when we were going through this material that I did with Alice in Chains. It's a bummer. It's all the bummer. Like, his lyrics are bummer fucking lyrics, man.
Yes.
And just especially knowing, what you know about how you felt about it at the time, it meant something probably different to you and me. And then you see the ultimate demise of Scott Weiland. Like, he was a troubled guy, and he, over-medicated and lost his life. And it's just a fucking tragedy, man.
Yes.
And listening back to these tunes, it's like, oh, man, what a talent. And it's too bad.
Right.
So I had that whole, Paul was cast over the whole thing.
It was. I appreciated the fact that not every song was about heroin.
Yeah.
That was a little bit of a relief versus the Alice in Chains project. But this Velvet Revolver project was good. And it was touted as a supergroup. And you had 3, primary members from GNR in there, plus Scott Weiland. That's not a bad combo.
Oh, yeah.
I liked the sound of it. There was a comfort to it.
Mm-hmm. And I bounced back and forth between Slither and Fall to Pieces.
And that was good too.
Yeah, Fall to Pieces is really a great song.
Slither had a good sound to it. Maybe we'll drop a little clip in here so you can hear it. My honorable mention is Tumble in the Rough. Off of Songs from the Vatican Gift Shop, it's not a very well-known song. It just has a cool groove. It's not like their other stuff. It's got kind of a poppy beat. It's kind of hard to describe. The rhythm of the drums with this chunky guitar is kind of what does it for me.
Yeah. This album was unique in the fact that it really was kind of almost avant-garde. Like they went into different areas that they had not traditionally gone.
The album reminded me of Melancholy by the Pumpkins.
That's what I was gonna say. It's very Smashing Pumpkins type, like experimental. Like a track on that album is Art School Girl.
Yes, I like that too.
That song always delighted me.
It's great.
It's just simple, but I always liked it.
Yeah, I like that song too. This Tumble in the Rough is like, it's a departure from their sound without going in a really strange direction. Right. It's one of the few songs where Weiland wrote all of the music and the lyrics. So.
Huh. I did not picture him as a musician.
He's got writing credits primarily for lyrics, and this one he did all the music on as well. But that art school girl, that's good too. I was wrestling between that and Tumble in the Rough.
Got a girlfriend, she goes to parties, underground parties, and Warhol everywhere. She wears the leather, I wear the makeup. We'll never break up, been together for a month. She left her home from sweet Alabama, Rose, Alabama, for the city, New York City, yeah. She left her home.
Yeah,
My honorable mention.
It's cool. It's a different departure. Probably most people who know what the songs are on our list probably haven't dove that deep into like Vatican,
Right.
that much. So
Right.
those are cool nuggets.
All right, what's your number 5?
Okay, number 5 is probably going to be a shocker because it might have been number 1 on many people's list, but I put Plush here.
And I breathe when the dogs begin to smell her. Well, she stand alone. Well, the dogs can find her. Got time, wait for tomorrow. To find it. Well,
And I went back and forth. It's like Plush Unplugged or Plush, the studio version. And I listened to them both. And then I listened to their Unplugged that they did. It wasn't Unplugged. It was an impromptu that they gave. I think they were in Kensington Park in London, and MTV caught them, just him and DeLeo on a park bench. And they said, could you rip it off for us now? And he just, it's a haunting version. It's great. It's on YouTube. You can find it. I love the studio version of this.
I do too.
It just tears open a whole, like that first guitar chord, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
we're through the netherworld here.
This is definitely a song I think of when I think of STP.
No, absolutely.
I mean, this song was pouring out of dorm rooms in 1993.
It's a banger fucking song.
It's a good tune.
Every bit of it too, and it's a great example of why DeLeo is such a masterful guitarist. It's an example of, like, he uses chromatic scales all over the place, which is very hard to do. Now, chromatic scales, for those of you, and I don't really understand it all that much, is, look at a piano, you have to play all of the white and the black keys in order to get a chromatic scale, right? So that's not how scales are traditionally built, and so that's why, like, it's really difficult to do in music, and it's difficult to do in a guitar because those notes aren't always like manageable on a fretboard, and he does it masterfully. And these first 4, he does it in the intro, the verse, and the chorus differently in this song. It's great. You'll be able to hear it. It just goes boom, doom, 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 doom. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Weiland said the lyrics to the song came from a story about a girl who had been kidnapped and then was later found dead. Quote, so it gave me fuel to write the words to this song. However, it's not about that, really. It's a metaphor for a lost, obsessive relationship.
Yeah. He's got a lot of those. Mm-hmm. The lost, obsessive relationships.
Yeah. This was their only Grammy.
Yeah. They're crowded out by a lot of other talent, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's a great song. The acoustic version on MTV Unplugged is legendary, and that actually is a legendary, so November 19th, 1993, and November 20th, MTV did 3 tapings of their Unplugged show. They did Stone Temple Pilots, Duran Duran, and then the next day they did Nirvana, which is pretty gnarly.
Right. Okay, my number 5 is off of Songs from the Vatican Gift Shop, and it is Tripping on a Hole in a Paper Heart. This song is about Weiland's desire for redemption. I'm not dead and I'm not for sale, which eventually becomes the title of his autobiography. They turn a vocal effect on and off between the lines and the verses, which adds this effect of having 2 different vocalists singing when you hear the song. And I kind of like that.
That's cool.
Yeah. When I saw them live, he would use a bullhorn on that part. He used the bullhorn a lot live.
Awesome.
And it worked. It worked. The song was actually written by the drummer, Eric Kretz. It's got a kick and bass line throughout. Does a great run-up in the choruses. The ending is cool. It just stops. It just stops dead.
Yeah.
And a lot of their songs do that. Okay,
Done.
this song is done. You're finished. Get out.
I appreciate that. Some songs are like 4.5 minutes, and it's like a minute and a half of just the same thing going over and over until they fade it out. I'm like, I don't have time for that shit.
We're getting back to the Spanish peanut
That's right.
attention span.
I don't have time for it. I got it.
All right, what's your number 5?
Off of Purple, Interstate Love Song.
On a Sunday afternoon, what I read between the lines, feeling.
Great country and western vibe. Again, country and western. It's not necessarily grunge. It's kind of like grungy country. I love it. I love the groove. It's got great lyrics. The verse is awesome, and the video again. The video to me is just emblazoned in my mind. Somewhere I need to find that pink ostrich feather jacket that he had with the cowboy hat, riding around in his 1978 Lincoln Continental in the desert, just cruising to this song. Like, that was like, to me, like, I saw that image and I'm like, that is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
To be able to pull that shit off, sing this song, and just wear that shit, I love it. It's great.
This is their most played song on Spotify. 257 million listens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, that's a lot.
Yeah. When I listened to it, I like this song too. I like this a lot. This was a contender for my list as well. I was trying to figure out why this song got so many more plays than anything else they did.
I don't think it's as heavy as the other. Like, Plush is a heavy tune when you get down to it. It's not only sonically heavy, but like, you know,
Yeah, the content.
where the dogs can find her.
Right.
This is more or less like it's like a driving song. Like, I always stop to listen to this song whenever it's on, or if I come cruising along in a playlist, and I'll always pop it on because it's such a great. And again, it stops. It's like 3 minutes long.
It's a heavy tune.
Yeah.
The song is about Weiland lying to his fiancée regarding his drug use while they were recording this album in Atlanta, and she was in California, hence the name Interstate Love Song. And he's telling it from her perspective. You lied. He says that 4 times throughout the song. And the video plays off the theme of those lies. When they show the silent film star,
Right.
his nose is growing like Pinocchio.
Yeah.
That's the play on the whole thing. All right, my number 4 is off of Purple, and it is Big Empty.
Time to take her home, an easy head is conscience laden. Time to wait too long, to wait too long, to wait too long. Conversations kill. Conversations kill.
This was actually first released for Brandon Lee's last movie, The Crow.
Right.
It was on the soundtrack, but they included it on this album. It was written by Dean DeLeo, the guitarist. The song's original title was Only Dying, but after Brandon Lee was killed during the filming of that movie, they changed it to The Big Empty.
Yeah. It's a good move.
Yeah, right? Great mix of heavy and light. It's almost noodly jazzy in some parts. I don't love the opening because the slide guitar is a little fussy for me, but as soon as his vocals come in, that goes away, and then he begins to build the vocals, and then he gets into the chorus and he just pounds it.
I love it. Right, I'm glad this made your list. It's because it's a great song. Again, I like when they go into the verse, when they get into the chorus. It's like the drummer kicks his bass drum down the stairs. It's like, boom, boom,
Oh,
boom,
yeah.
boom. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah, deep lyrics in this too. Time to take her home, her dizzy head is conscience laden.
Yeah, it's cool.
Conversations kill. Theme of the song is that communicating honestly with people you care about can ruin relationships.
Seems a bit evasive.
A little bit.
It sounds like in keeping with the drug addict, I think.
Right. A little bit. So, Okay, what you have for number 4?
So going off of the Core album, I really love this album. It was hard for me to pick off these first 2 albums specifically, but then I just go back and forth between a couple of them, and I landed on Sin. This is in the same vein of Alice in Chains, Nine Inch Nails, heavy, down you go, Sin makes you stronger, Again, it's like you have to be in the mood for that type of music.
Right.
But that is one of the best examples of one of those songs that are,
right.
To me, I remember that distinctly, seeking that out. That was next after Dirt came off of the carousel where this is going on.
I have a few from that album in that same vein that I agree. I had a hard time wrestling which one I was going to pull off of that. It wasn't this one, but I also like this song a lot. It's just that same driving,
great
heavy
guitar groove.
Yes.
Just a great guitar groove, and it's driving all the way through.
Right.
Same thing with Wicked Garden and Dead and Bloated. All of those songs are like that.
Right.
They're just really awesome examples of that type of music. If you're down for it, if you're sick of listening to Dirt, Core is a good place to pick up.
Yeah.
And go.
Right. All right. My number 3 is off of Purple, and it is Vaseline with an O.
One time a thing occurred to me. What's real and what's for sale? We were kissed and tried to take it home.
I didn't realize it was misspelled.
It was misspelled.
Is it? Okay.
Yes. The O should be an E. So I wrestled really hard with my number 3, and my number 3 is absolutely interchangeable with my number 2. So I'm going to put that precursor out there that I actually had them reversed and said, screw it, it doesn't matter, they're completely interchangeable. So my 3 and 2 are on an equal plane. Is it you? Is it me? Search for things that you can't see. Just great how the lyrics fall together. According to
He was really good at doing all that stuff.
According to an interview Weiland gave, when he was younger, his parents were playing Life in the Fast Lane by the Eagles, and he thought they were singing Flies in the Vaseline. It's odd how, how you can interpret lyrics when you're a kid, you don't really know what's being said. He said, the idea of a fly being stuck in Vaseline is about being stuck in the same situation over and over again. It's about me becoming a junkie.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, that's kind of what I had figured. The flies in the Vaseline were. And
right.
It's pretty easy to pick out of that song that that's what he was going for.
Right. Okay, that brings us to our fantasy concert lineup. Who are you going to see Stone Temple Pilots with?
Okay, so I'm bringing out the big guns here. Well, they're not really big guns, but I do want to keep the momentum up of this hard driving show that we're going to be seeing here. So obviously Stone Temple Pilots is going to be our headliner, but I want to bring in Slash's band with Miles Kennedy.
You'll have to carry me back from Cali. I don't care if you think I'm to blame. You'll have to carry me back to where I belong. You'll have to carry me back from Cali, the angel city where the devils play. You'll have to carry me back to where I belong. Yeah.
Back to Cali, that fucker was
Miles Kennedy had a hell of a set of pipes.
Great fucking voice. Yeah, especially enough to stand up to Slash's guitar work.
Right.
He's such a cool, and he's a cool looking dude.
Mm-hmm.
And also Buck Cherry. Did you ever see Buck Cherry?
Yeah, weren't they the ones that sang the song about fucking
I'm on a plane with cocaine?
Something about fucking me, that's all I remember.
I'm sure that's probably in the catalog somewhere, yeah.
Hey, you're crazy bitch, but you fuck so good I'm on top of it when I dream. I'm doing you all night, scratches all down my back to keep me right on.
he's got his entire back is tattooed with the Suicide King.
Oh, wow.
It's fucking awesome. And he's like as slender as Weiland, I believe.
I remember him being a fairly slight fella.
Deals with the same issues, I believe.
Possible.
But I love that album, Lit Up. It's great. It's a great kind of time capsule. That's probably 96, 97 or something like that. But I interchange, because he's not going to be able to make every show. I just know. His history, he just can't. He's like a very Axl Rosy kind of guy.
He's going to need a little couch time.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're gonna swap in Candlebox when he's not available.
Now maybe did I mean to treat you bad, yeah, but I did it anyway. And then maybe some would say your life was sad, yeah, but you lived it anyway. And so maybe
Okay. Sure. Why not? All right, I'm going to break my own rule here that we shouldn't name any band we'd seen before. I've seen both the bands I'm about to name, but I think they'd just be a perfect fit to this. I want to see Stone Temple Pilots with Jane's Addiction.
Coming down the mountain, one of many children. Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own opinion. Holding it back hurts so bad. Just one out of my flesh and I'll slay.
I saw them about 10 years ago, somewhere in that neighborhood, at the Fillmore in Detroit. It's like their version of the Riviera here in Chicago. It's a really nice theater.
Old theater.
Yeah, old theater. Great place to see a concert.
Dance hall.
Right.
Thing, yeah.
Dave Navarro is a fucking rock star. I mean, this guy, I want to say he's probably 3 or 4 years older than you and I are.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even a little more.
Right?
He comes out on stage wearing like a vest with no shirt on underneath, and the dude is ripped. I mean, he is just carved. He's got the Marlboro Red hanging out of his mouth, nipping off of a bottle of something brown. He continued to smoke and drink throughout the whole show, and I'm looking at him
Fuck
like,
yeah.
how the fuck do you pull that off? How do you keep the physique while you're doing all that? You're older than I am.
Dave Navarro is the Tom Cruise of rock stars.
He's amazing.
He's asked to do one thing: be a fucking rock star, and he does it really good.
Yes, he does. He does. I also, and it's another band I've seen live, but I want to see him with The Cult.
With Ian Asbury? or what?
With Ian Astbury. I fucking love The Cult.
We have to do a separate pod of like just red ass bands that broke up for no reason and can't get it back together.
Oh, The Cult's still together. They're touring now.
There's some sort of legal battle over the name or something. That and Queensryche.
Queensryche, yeah. Queensryche, they had an issue, and Jeff Tate. Well, I've also seen Jeff Tate live, and I saw Queensryche without Jeff Tate. That was a rough one.
That's a rough one.
Jeff Tate on his own was awesome. He was awesome. I love Queensryche. A tear ran down my face.
He has to play in the Pink Ostrich jacket, though. At least one song.
Weiland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to see him wiggle around in that thing.
Okay, what is your number 2?
Number 2 is off of Purple. Track is Still Remains. way the song starts out with, he slides up into a chord break and he just keeps going back and forth with that. It's really, really tough guitar work. I can tell you, seeing different tutorials on like how to play that song, it is way out of my league, which is not really saying much, but it's like, you can see it's technical. The guy's got tremendous chops. The interlude into the third verse, when it kind of like lulls around and then it blows up into the third verse again. It's just a cool song. I love it. It's about loving someone so much that you just want to be with them in the afterlife, which is pretty powerful.
It's a positive message from a band that doesn't always sing about positive messages.
Yeah, one of the lyrics is like, "Take a bath and I'll drink the water as you leave." That's love, baby.
I would say so. We're not doing that later. In case anyone wondered.
We always bathe after each pod.
You kind of have to wash yourself off after
It
we
gets
do
gritty
these.
down here.
I like to turn the heat up to like 90 just to keep Nick on his toes.
Right, we sit in rubber suits, trying to make weight, coach. Fuck.
All right, my number two is off the album number 4 from 1999, and the song is Sour Girl.
Hey, what are you looking at? She was a happy girl when she left me. What would you do? What would you do if I followed you? What would you do?
And again, this was interchangeable with number 3 for me, but I love this tune. I think the groove of this tune is just cool. It's chill.
Yeah.
It's chill for a band that doesn't do a lot of necessarily chill stuff. The video was great. Sarah Michelle Gellar
That's right.
in the video, and she starts out like all gothy, and then she turns into good old cute blonde SMG.
SMG. Just got that. Those are the biz. Know her as SMG.
That's right. And if she plays in New York, she'll play MSG. Sorry. Anyhow, Billboard ranked Sour Girl at number 88 on its list of the 100 best rock songs of the 2000s. I really like what the guitar does during the later choruses. It just kind of trills as he's singing What Would You Do? It's about his marriage to his first wife.
Sure, she loves being referred to as the Sour Girl.
Right. Yeah, this was the only song I think I recognized off that album. I didn't know much else off of
No.
number 4.
Yeah, number 4 or Shangri-La-Dee-Da.
Yeah.
It's like this kind of slim pickings there.
Yeah, I had kind of pulled away from them, and I don't know why that was.
Well, that was 99.
99.
2001. It's
You know,
like...
that grunge sound and that grunge angst and anger and energy, we've talked about this before. It burned hot and bright, and also short.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of exposure to that sound and that style, and maybe that was something that...
Just didn't have an appetite for it.
Yeah, after a while, you
You didn't seek out like, oh, Stone Temple Pilots dropped a new album. It's 1999. Let
Right.
me go see it. Nah, I had moved on.
Yeah, I was settled into a nice, comfortable relationship with my now wife at that time, so maybe I wasn't angsty. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's
also-
part of what drove it.
That's also true. Could be part of that. But you're off finding other music.
Right,
You
right.
I found Richard Ashcroft and other artists that I'd never heard before, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, this is a completely different sound. And
Sure.
I'm down for that rather than this.
Yeah. Okay, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is off of Shangri-La-Dee-Da, because now that album is fucking 21 years old,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
And it's Days of the Week.
Last day, it's more than I can stand. I'm holding her down, she's down again. I gotta find a way to find her. Where could she be? On days of the week, she thinks I'm the enemy.
2.5 minutes. It starts off with it's like a punch in the face.
It's nice and quick.
Right? Monday, back from the dead. Like, okay, go through the days of the week. Well, there's shit's going on in your life. And it's another failed, trying to keep together a failed relationship, just back and forth. But I didn't mind it. I like it. It's punchy. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
I just like it, and I like it that they respect my time enough to get in and out, tell me a story, and get the fuck out of my face.
People listening are going to think you are just the busiest motherfucker in the world.
I got a lot of time on my hands. I really do.
You have always got places to go where you can't listen to more than 3 minutes of music.
No, but I just get bored with it. I'm just like, okay, all right, well, I got it. I gotta hit a third verse of this shit? Like, unless it's really, really good. Like, I'm fast forwarding. I'm sorry. That's how I consume my music.
Spanish peanut.
I don't sit down and pore over every little fucking thing. Sometimes that's kind of like the purpose of this podcast. I'll be quiet now.
All right, my number one. You've actually already mentioned this, and maybe it'll come as a surprise to folks that it is my number one, but it is Dead and Bloated.
Awesome.
I fucking love this song.
This is your number one?
My number one. So
That's awesome.
I'm going to save the intro for my best 4 seconds because the start of the song is so awesome with the bullhorn and the drums kick in and the guitar. But we'll get to that in coolest 4 seconds. When I saw them live, they played that somewhere about mid-set. And he just got onto them like nothing was really happening. The crowd was kind of cheering from the last song that had happened. You see him grab the bullhorn and he just goes into it. And they hit those first couple of drums and bam, like I popped up and did the double fist pump because I knew those drum hits were coming.
Yeah.
I love this tune. This is Stone Temple Pilots' first song, first album, right in your face.
Yeah.
I hope you don't like your face because we're going to melt it right the fuck off.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it doesn't stop either. That album keeps on going with that intensity.
Right.
It's really awesome. I love that track.
Yeah.
It's great.
Edgy bass running under everything else. I like the lyrics. I run through the world thinking about tomorrow.
The title of the song is Dead and Bloated.
Dead and Bloated. And Weiland said it's not really about anything. It's just stream of consciousness words. It's more about the vibe, the angst, and that kind of thing. He wrote a nonsense song, essentially, and it's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, so what is your most hated?
Well, I mean, I'm glad that you have Vaseline on your list. Because that's my wife's favorite Stone Temple Pilots shit. She loves that song.
Okay.
I fucking hate it.
Really?
I never liked it. It just never got me. I never got the hook. I never got the groove. I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Not a fan of Pretty Penny either.
Gone when you wake in the morning, gone when you find that there's no one sleeping, gone. Pretty Penny was her name. She was loved and we all will miss her. How far will you go, I say?
Oh, you'll
Yeah, I listened to it earlier, and now I'm trying to think of how it goes, but we'll drop it in here.
Yeah, and go ahead. I've got a couple more.
This one kind of befuddled me a little bit, because when I thought of STP and I thought about this song, I hadn't even heard it yet, and I was like, I think that's it. I think that's the one that I'm going to pick. And the song is The Art of Letting Go.
Hope to see your smile again, but some days far too long apart. The art of letting go. I may be setting myself up to have to walk the streets alone, but letting go.
That came out after Weiland was dead, after Chester Bennington was dead. Chester Bennington replaced Scott Weiland for a while from Linkin Park. Had spent some time, or a couple 3 years with STP, left STP amicably because he had a commitment yet with Linkin Park, and then he died a couple years after that. This is their third singer now,
Right.
and he's good. Like, this song is not a bad song. his vocals are really clean. The guy's name is Jeff Gutt, Gutt. It's kind of an unfortunate name. And he does a hell of a job on this song. In fact, when I thought of it and then I listened to it, I was like, yeah, Weiland was pretty clean here. And then I realized it wasn't Weiland. It was this other guy. My complaint with it is there's a sing-songy aspect of it that just, it's weird. It's like...
It's off-brand.
This isn't the STP I came here for.
Right.
There's a dentist office guitar solo. Like, it's Muzak. You are sitting in the chair getting drilled. STP's other ballady songs weren't bad, but anyhow.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of their remake of Dancing Days.
Dancing days are here again as the summer evenings grow. I got my flower, I got my power, I got a woman who knows.
I wasn't either.
But that's not one of my favorite Zeppelin tunes.
No, I'm with you.
But I'm just like, that's not the Zeppelin song we needed a remake of.
And they've done they've done other remakes, and they've done them pretty darn well.
Yeah.
I thought that one was a little too close to the original, which
I guess that's what it was. That would be my criticism of it. It's
Yeah,
like, if you're
they're-
going to remake it, like
put
Stone Temple Pilots it
right,
up. Let's
put
go.
your STP into it.
Right.
Don't do what they did. They already did it. They already made it what it was.
I guess that's my biggest complaint. I was just like, none of this works for me. But it's because it's the same fucking song. I just go listen to the original.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything different. You didn't, play in a different, sandbox with that song.
Right.
It's kind of like the purpose of doing
Transform it.
Yeah.
Make it yours. Coolest 4 seconds.
We named a lot of mine. The intro, or the chorus intro to Big Empty, when he just like the tumbling drums and everything like that, and he strikes that high note in his lyrics. It's really great.
Falling faster in my car. Time to take her home. Her daisy head is consciously. Time to take her ride and leave today. No conversation.
Yeah.
The intro to Sour Girl has always been a favorite of mine.
I like
a
that.
really groove, really cool.
Just lays it out kind of easy and early.
Yeah, and Slither's intro too, and he's yelping around. He's like, yeah! I love that. That's so awesome.
Yeah. I'll throw in the opening to Dead and Bloated since I've already referenced it.
I am smelling like the roses somebody gave me on my birthday deathbed. I am smelling like the roses somebody gave me 'cause I'm dead and blue.
So much energy to see that live.
Sure.
And I remember putting that CD in the first time I got it, and that's the first song that pops, and you're like, oh shit.
Like the bullhorn, I am, smelling like a, it's like, and you're like, okay, this is different than 10.
Right.
Or like, it's just like, and then these melt your face off, as you said.
Right.
Yeah, it's really cool, man.
I also had the chorus from Cracker Man. Mm-hmm. He likes the bullhorn. Mm-hmm. All right. So
I like, I'm sorry, with just one more, Wicked Gardens. he's got a different, his guitar sounds different on this track in particular. And it's like kind of like more of a syrupy but a heavy crunch on it. It's really cool sounding, and that's another Wicked Garden is another fucking great tune. That's the first song I made a video for.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Have I seen that?
Probably not. So I took some video. It's like this. We're talking about 94,
right?
Or 93. Probably.
Are you wearing pants?
93. No. I took.
You're not wearing pants.
No, I was never wearing pants when I was editing ever. But it was all in-camera editing. It was really difficult to do. I was like, I took a video footage of us. We were in a basketball league.
Okay.
Pickup basketball league in LaGrange, and so I broke my ankle halfway through the season, so I had this new video recorder.
And nothing to do.
I had nothing to do, so I was like, hey, you should come out and record all of our basketball games. They're like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. So I did, and I had all this footage, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I can do some stuff with this. And I was able to like figure out a way to put the music in, but I'd have to edit it in camera. It was a pain in the ass. But it turned out pretty good, and Wicked Garden was the track that I used.
Yeah, I like that tune.
Yeah, it's cool.
Sisters of Mercy. Do you want more?
No, I don't think so. I think I've outgrown these guys. It's cool to look back on them, but nah.
It was a fun trek. I did hear a couple of things that I might have. I think I've added one or two, but yeah, for the most part, this music is from my past, not my future.
Yeah.
Couple of notable covers here. We just talked about some of them, and the fact that STP has done, some covers of their own. Weiland did the vocals for a version of the song "Time of the Season" by the Zombies, and he did it with a group called Big Blue Missile. Was for the second Austin Powers film in 1999. There's a really cool groove to it. I'd never heard it before. I don't think I've seen the movie, so it's probably why I haven't heard the song, I guess. I don't know. He sounds a lot like Bowie in this song. And I couldn't find anything else on this Big Blue Missile, so I have a feeling it was like a studio exec saying, I want Weiland somewhere in this soundtrack, so put together a studio band and, write a track or copy a track or
he owes us some
track.
contract.
Yeah, right.
Put him in the studio.
Yeah, yeah, right. And then Stone Temple Pilots did Break On Through.
Chased our pleasures here, dug our treasures there. Can you still recall the time we cried? Bring on through to the other side. Bring on through to the other side. Bring on through to the other side. Yeah. Bring on through to the other side.
For a Doors tribute album from 2000 called Stoned Immaculate. And it's fucking incredible.
Really?
Oh,
okay.
I fucking loved it.
I'll have to look at it.
The album is on Spotify, but the song is not included in the track, so there must be some sort of contractual dispute. I don't know what the reason is that Spotify doesn't carry it. I'm kind of pissed because that's how I manage all my music. The verses are kind of funked up. It's got really heavy, crunchy choruses. It has their prints just all over it. It's a lot better than the recording of Weiland doing this with the actual
Doors. Yeah.
Right.
That says a lot.
All right, Cars question. Did they move music forward?
Well, let's see here. No, I can't say that they did, unfortunately.
I wrestled with this as well.
Purple moved them forward in a different direction, but I don't think anybody...
That wall had already been kind of broken down.
Smashing Pumpkins kind of took care of that.
Smashing Pumpkins did it, and the cascade of bands that followed very shortly after Gish, they kind of broke through that. And these guys, while they had their own sound...
Yeah.
I don't know that they necessarily advanced.
I put them
music
in the same level as the Mount Rushmore of the grunge era, right? The Pearl Jams, the Soundgardens, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, and Stone Temple Pilots.
Right.
They're not a copycat. I'm not
No.
going to hit him with that. That they took a lot of shit for that, and I think that probably added to his, pressures and senses of like
I'm sure you're
sensitive
right.
guy. And it's like, this is your life's work. It's very successful commercially, but you still have, the critics in the critic universe, so they're shitting all over
Right.
you. It's like, man, that's got to be tough to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement. They were late to the party.
It's not their fault.
It's not their fault. Did they create their own sound? Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Purple was a great example of that.
Sure.
And that's why, like Interstate Love Song, Big Empty, and those songs that came off, Meat Plow. Love that song.
Meat Plow. I saw that title and I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, they're great songs.
That's
man.
great.
But no, I don't think they moved it forward.
Yeah. Who's your MVP here?
So last time for Alice in Chains, we gave the MVP, unfortunately, to Heroin.
Right.
I didn't see that here.
I didn't either.
I didn't see that type of influence here. I think that he was a really troubled character. But
Certainly affected by that. Yeah. The difference between Weiland and STP and Staley and Alice in Chains is Alice in Chains made it their mission to sing and write
that was the subject.
about heroin.
Yeah, that was the subject.
Right.
I mean, all of them were a part of it.
Right, and all of them were on it. I mean, it was.
And I think that's the difference in STP. Like I said, I don't think that the other guys suffered from those afflictions. So I'm going to give the MVP to the brothers. That's the musical backbone, and they're the ones that come up with the the sounds and the stylings of these songs.
Right.
Which are great.
So I have Weiland as the MVP because he is one of arguably the three voices of this entire movement,
Yeah.
and nobody has really sounded like him since. And the ones that have, he broke the mold on that. And I also have Dean DeLeo and Robert DeLeo getting a super strong honorable mention where they just, Weiland beat him by a nose, getting over that line to get the MVP.
Yeah.
Rankings, how do you rank these guys?
Well, their catalog is, if they retired after 2 albums, I would give them a 5 on their catalog.
Right.
But, they just continue to try to, well, for whatever reason, their last couple albums for me didn't go very well. So I have their catalog at like a 2.75.
Okay. I put their catalog at a 3.25 because I like that first album so much.
Yeah.
And there are
Well,
some.
the batting average on the first 2 albums is...
It's huge.
Yeah,
Right,
900.
right.
I think their coolness factor is up there like a 4.5 because they're carried by such a charismatic frontman.
He was cool as
Just
hell.
Cool as hell, yeah.
He was a unique cat.
Yeah.
Had his own sound, had his own style. And the rest of the band looked cool behind him. Robert DeLeo was always wearing aviators when he played the bass. Talent, I gave these guys a 4.5 for image, and for talent, I gave them a 4.4. I
Yeah.
think their musical skills are pretty up there.
Yeah, I got their talent at a 4.25 too. So it's they're pretty talented musically. This was a nice little walk down memory lane. But again, it's like if you hear me listening to Alice in Chains and Stone Temple Pilots, like check in with me. Something is
Nick, how's the marriage going?
something is skewed.
All right, that wraps it up for this episode of The Idiots. Hey, if you liked what you heard, go ahead and share us. Somebody's doing that for us right now, and that was great. If you haven't rated us yet, please do so. Leave us a comment. Leave us a whatever.
The ratings and comments help a great deal.
They do. They keep it going for us,
Yeah.
because otherwise it's just kind of numbers that we see, and some week those numbers are better than others. So it does, we're doing this for the fun of it, and it gives us some energy to keep going. So please give us some feedback.
We're harvesting all of your addresses, and we're going to be sending bills out at the end of the year. That's we shouldn't have talked about that.
No,
Oh,
Ixnay on the
edit
Ills
that
Bay.
out.
All right, guys, thanks for listening.
Okay.